it's easy to like get an idea stuck in your head. And, lead magnets are people consuming your content and finding value in it, right? So whether it's putting like social media posts on your Facebook that share a little bit about what you do and who you help to attract people, or just share memes for being funny, to thinking that I'm not an expert enough to write my own book is such a limiting belief, when it doesn't. The book doesn't have to be a massive novel that it took years to actually complete writing because it was huge. It's a collection of your thoughts on a particular topic and subject, and answering questions that people that should be working with you might not be, because they simply don't know that you can answer their problems.
Hello, entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Laura L. Bernhard. Welcome back to the Marketing Bound podcast, where we help you leverage inbound marketing strategies to grow your business. This week, I interview Darby Rollins, growth marketer who launched a private label brand on Amazon in 2017. Since then, he's tested a very unique lead magnet: writing a book. He says that offering prospects a book helps pre-frame your services, making your offer irresistible. Naturally, I wanted to learn more about this technique. So in what you're about to hear, we chat about how to write a book in a short period of time, the kind of book you need to be writing for your prospects, how to overcome writer's block, and how to leverage your book in the sales process. Make sure to listen to the entire episode, because Darby also reveals the structure your book needs for the best possible results. If you enjoy this episode, be sure to subscribe to the Marketing Bound podcast and share this episode. Hello, Darby. Thank you so much for being on the Marketing Bound podcast. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me here, Laura. It's great to be here.
I am super excited to get into what we're about to talk about. So for everyone listening, we're going to be talking about lead magnets, specifically books. So Darby, you told me before that everybody, especially service-based entrepreneurs, should pre-frame their offering. Can you go into more detail about what you mean by that?
Absolutely. What I mean by pre-frame is essentially how you're positioned to your potential clients on the marketplace before somebody comes into the selling conversation to do business with you in some form, or just they have a question about what you're having to offer. The better you pre-frame yourself and whatever you're selling out there, it's going to answer a lot of questions and position you with a lot more authority if you do it well. And it makes the sales a lot easier to close when you can answer a lot of questions that people generally want to talk to you about when they're engaging in conversation about your business. So
yeah. Sorry, continue.
So I was just kind of wrapping up there. But the more effort and focus you can put on pre-framing yourself and into the offer that you have out there to make it irresistible, the easier the closes are going to come. And so what we're going to get into today is just one method for pre-framing and how you can use it.
Okay, awesome. So let's dive right into it. What is this pre-framing method?
So, maybe I'm in my own little world over here, but I've been someone that's wanted to write a book for a long, long, long time on a lot of different things. And for the last few years specifically, I've known that I've wanted to write a book. I do a lot of e-commerce consulting, and I've learned a lot in a lot of different areas of the business. But I wanted to strictly focus on one more so on the Amazon side of my business. I know that if I did it 3 years ago, it would have, probably been a really good thing for me to do to help me, get my message and my, position out there. But I just always got daunted by the idea and I never did it. Recently, I became part of an early access community to an artificial intelligence powered software that helps kind of cut through writer's block and, get things out of your head written concisely, like good copywriting on paper. And I got the idea one weekend, like, hey, I just wrote this really good blog outline using this in a really short amount of time. Why don't I just expand on this weekend and make it a weekend project and write a book? if I can write a book about the topic of my authority that I want to engage with a client on, I get the same exact questions back all the time. And so basically I wanted to get all that out of my head, educate people on kind of my process with what I do here, and make it able to be consumed in a really easy, kind of format.
Okay. So how long was your book? How many pages? Because I'm sure people listening to this is like, what? You wrote a full book in a weekend?
Yeah. So, there's maybe like a slight asterisk on this and the fact that it's an MVP version of a book.
Okay.
That it's not very prettied up other than the fact that it has a really professional looking, front cover. Mm-hmm. The inside is very straightforward. It's got a table of contents, an introduction, and it's broken up into very specific parts that I touch on. But the core of the content is out there, and it's about an hour's read, about 100 pages on an Amazon paperback book that they printed for me. But the way that I built the book and got it just kind of done and out there is essentially it's a really long sales letter is the way I had it, inviting people to learn more about my process and connect with me. And let's talk if they're interested in doing, something in the realm of what we're talking about in this book. So I've got a lot to build on top of this for, but my intention for it was to show it to a handful of clients, potential clients, and engage with business with them and use this as an extra piece to just, really seal the deal without making it difficult. And that's already happened. So
you've seen results from it?
Yes.
Okay. So before we get into the results, I want to go more into this process. So you wrote 100 pages over a weekend, and you said you describe it as like a sales kind of pitch, but from my understanding, it's also informative because you're teaching your client how to do your expertise, right? That's how you're building your authority.
Yeah, absolutely. My ideal client is someone that wants to know how it's done, and then they want to work with someone that knows how it's done, but better than how they know it, and can just get the job done. Some people will read it and take it up, and maybe they'll go do their own thing with it, and that's great. And that's why books are for learning, but the right client.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to jump in there because you're sitting down writing this full book for people who might think it's daunting, right? Who may not have access to this AI thing that we'll talk about later. But why not just a short ebook? Why not blogs? Why not a lead magnet where you get someone to sign up to your newsletter? Why a book?
I think part of it is, I'd really wanted to be a published author and be able to say I put something in that format. I've always thought it was a good idea, but then I realized that if I'm going to go and write a 20,000, page blog article that's going to have some really specific content that people can access and stuff, and I think it's valuable enough too, I could also turn that into a physical version of the book that, is something that is going to look good on somebody's bookshelf and that they can tap into. And so instead of just being online in a blog post format, and now you have the email list, but now you have something that's tangible, that's in somebody's hands that they can read and say, they don't need it. It's not like it's rocket science to write a book. You just have to dedicate the time and focus to do it. And people value things that they can hold, and books have weight to them. And so that's initially kind of.
Yeah. It's a tangible lead magnet, basically. Right. But then right now, how are you distributing the book so that you're kind of qualifying the time that you put into it? Because right now they have to go buy it on Amazon, or are you saying hey, you're a prospect. Here's a book.
Yeah. So there's a lot of services out there that will do the printing and kind of print on demand style of publishing your book for you. I don't know about a lot, but there are services that do that, Amazon being one of them, and Amazon itself just being a massive distribution network. Once your book is uploaded and formatted onto their Kindle Direct Publishing program, they'll handle all of the sales and all of the or taking the sale and printing the book and delivering it to wherever you print it at. You can order author copies directly to you. And, but like in times, like these, when you're maybe not going to as much networking events much, people are that much more used to getting stuff in the mail and receiving. And so you could ship off books from anywhere you want. Maybe you want to send a batch to you.
Is that what you're doing? Are you sending books to prospects?
Either I'm just showing them that, hey, like, go check this out. Here's a free download. Or, people that are working, they saw it and they just like bought it, okay. and they're like kind of re-engaging with me in that kind of sense, because I let them know that it was out. But yeah, also sending out, some as kind of like, getting it out there if I think it's the right opportunity.
Very cool. I'm also thinking, because getting someone to read your book is definitely a commitment. So you might think somebody is a really great prospect, but how do you make sure that they're reading it so that they understand that you are the authority in your space?
Absolutely. And this is something that I'm actively very deeply involved with learning as well. Like, I never would have thought I would be somebody that would write a book in a weekend. And now people are asking me to teach them how to, just because it's like a fun process. But the thing I learned after like the first few and seeing a lot of the questions back was exactly that. Like, how do you hook people into it? And what it comes to is like the introduction of your book. And if you have a preface and like a foreword, those are designed to essentially sell somebody on reading the rest of your book, hooking them in, giving them an outline like where necessary, understanding who this book is for and who it's not for. There's a lot of structure that goes into that, honestly, that's one of the more important parts of the book, because if you don't sell somebody on actually reading it, then it's an incomplete job. So I really use this artificial intelligence to kind of go back and forth on like, how do we structure this book and how do I get it organized in a way that now I can just go and expand on every single topic. And that immediately took a huge weight off of my shoulders, because it's the type of stuff that I would just struggle to even just sit down and write a blog post about before. And then the attention goes toward like, okay, cool, now I can go back to focusing on pre-selling myself in the intro. Possibly, I didn't have anyone forward in mind, but you get a solid authority in the space to write the forward on your book. It's a great way to position yourself, amongst other, great people in your industry.
That's a good idea. Okay, so then let's dive into this tool. What is this tool called? The AI one?
The tool is called Conversionai. You can find it at conversion.ai. And this tool is built like powered by artificial intelligence that is just basically downloaded the internet in like 2019. And so it's pulling like most all of the internet into like getting smarter with what you're typing and asking it. And so Conversionai, what they've done is they've started working with a very like small group of people. It's growing, every single day now, to build out templates and work through like different workflows with different use cases of the tool. Now, the guys that are running this, Dave and Austin, are like some of the best marketers, that I know personally. Like they own a company that is basically like kickstarted the whole social proof industry, and they're taking a ton of like years and years of experience in marketing and psychology and understanding what converts, whether it's someone to read to the next sentence or someone to book a phone call or someone to buy a product from you. Like every action that we're taking is causing everything that we're saying to somebody is causing, we need a response back, and that's really what direct response copywriting is about. The AI is just helping understand the structure to help expand on like the knowledge or like the desired outcome that we give it. And so it still requires a lot of human control, but it's killing writer's block is what I found it to do. That's the coolest thing, is that it just cuts that out.
So it's not just the format, it's also understanding what you're writing and then maybe making suggestions.
Yeah. So like it's not going to spit out a whole book just by like happenstance, right? But so let's say one of the tools in it that I found really helpful right now is in writing, everyone that was going through the challenge. It's called the blog post outline. And so you'd say it like how to be a drummer as a topic. And it would say, okay, 1, you have to buy a drum set. 2, you have to learn how to, play drums, like practice, practice, practice. 4 is go and find a rock band or something. And so now I'm like, oh, that's a really simple blog post outline, right? Now, maybe I can expand on that. That could just be the content for my blog post. But now I might ask it the same question a few more times, get a few more topics and like bullets inside of that, and use that to kind of build out the structure of whatever sort of format of that. But they also have tools that are built specifically around the conversion formulas of copywriting. One is the problem agitate solution template, so PAS. And what you do is say like, how do I become a better drummer? It will break down in problem agitate solution, like an introduction essentially to like, hey, this is going to solve your problem, or this is what you need to keep reading. And so I would end up using that to kind of like build up intros and like lead into ideas that I was kind of using the Jarvis is what you call them. That's the AI that they've named to write this stuff out. And they also have a tool called Content Improver that like spell checks and like reformats content to make more sense. And the crazy thing is like this stuff just like it doesn't like plagiarize. Like all of it's like not even like not like worrying about it. We've been testing it, but it's all original content that it's redoing, which is pretty nuts.
Okay, so I'm super curious. If I Google this right now, will I find it?
Yeah, go to conversion.ai.
Okay. I just want to, this is live for everybody watching. Okay, conversion.ai. Okay, Jarvis. So let Jarvis write your marketing copy. So let's look at like some features, because this is super interesting, especially for people who are entrepreneurs and may not have time to sit down and say, oh, okay, let's figure out what to write and then deal with 4 hours of writer's block. So this can be like super convenient tool. It seems fairly new as I hear the TV in the background.
I was actually their first customer in December.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's when they opened up access.
That's so cool.
It is very new.
Yeah, but it says it helps you writing for everything: marketing angles, email subject lines, post captions. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go look at pricing for you because everybody is curious at this point. It said $29 per month, but it's a limited time price. Very cool. Very cool. So then you also said that you've already seen results from this lead magnet as being your pre-framing for your authority. Can you explain what results you've seen?
So I have one proposal on the table that somebody was reading through the book and was like extremely intrigued on top of it. We were already in conversation, and this was just kind of like re-engage with interest. And so now we're looking at just kind of like the structure of what a pretty decent sized contract that could turn out to be in the next, week or so. And I mean, that's, again, like this just came out like a week ago. And so I'm still testing out ways to use this in my direct response marketing. I'm a huge fan of like handwritten notes or like personalized, like letters that you send out, even like to past clients or people that you want to do business with. There's a lot of unique ways to engage with people. So I am going to be ordering a bunch of books to my house and doing more like deliveries that way, just so I can add in some extra stuff. But the books are so cheap when you're getting them at Amazon, like it's just like a really, really cheap, valuable piece of marketing material if you have good content.
Oh, because you technically have to pay for it to go to your house.
Yeah, but they'll give you like authors discounts, like
okay.
You know, like a couple bucks a book or whatever, just cover the hard costs for the author specifically.
Okay, that's super cool. And then you said that you also wrote another book.
Yes.
It was a crazy week for you. And have you seen results from that one as well?
Yeah, so that one was written as like, I'm kind of using these as tests now that I know I can like I'm really still like diving into it. I just learn better from doing. And so I wanted to take the same concept of this one, but expand on a startup that I'm a part of, where it's like a party game and there's like a bunch of ridiculous business names from it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to take all 180 business names from this game, and the concept of that game is pitching ridiculous business ideas. And I'm going to just ask this, like Jarvis, I'm going to work with like the AI to literally come up with all of these ideas. And so I have like a book full of 180 business names that are just absolute ridiculous business ideas. And I'm just saying, my girlfriend was cracking up the other day.
Okay, read us one.
Okay, let's see. Let's
do this.
All right. So the concept of the game that these are from is that you pitch a fake, side hustle idea that is either going to be funny or fundable. And most of them end up being ridiculous because the name is pitched in a specific industry. Now, I just told the AI here to just pitch it to me as it was. I'll show you one here. The business name is Kitten Mittens.
Okay.
Kitten Mittens is a brand for the perfect winter accessory. These mittens are designed to keep your hands warm and protect your fur baby's paws from rough surfaces. Kitten Mittens comes in all colors, styles, and shapes to fit any personality or style, with sizes ranging from teeny tiny to big giant.
I think that exists.
It's right there. So you got 179 more of those that you could go and read.
Okay, and have you sold any of those?
Yeah. So Amazon lets you. So my whole thing with this is just marketing, like for the book.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think these are funny, maybe you'll go check out the game or the marketing for the game. Like I think I've given away like 50 free ebooks on Amazon from people that are just interested. Like Amazon will let you opt into like their free ebook incentive program. And so it'll just show up in front of a bunch more people for free. And so I'm like, haven't quite gauged the results back there. I'm going to do a lot more with the links in the book as it grows out. But the interesting thing is like people are like, you can see in there, like how many people are reading it, how many people are buying it a day, like what pages are they reading if it's Kindle.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because then you can really hone in on what's working. And I like how unique this is as a lead magnet, because whenever we think of lead magnet, we think, something where you're on the website where you have to sign up and then you get it to your email and it's like, yay. But I like that how completely different this is. Do you have any plans on doing this again anytime soon? Like with another, I know you're working on so many projects, but do you have you want to use this kind of lead magnet for another type of business too, just to give the audience like more ideas?
Here's one that's kind of off the cuff. So I have an alter personality ego type, like Halloween is the only time that he comes out, called Donnie Hammer, which is just like a rock star drummer. It's like an expanded version. I grew up drumming and I'm still a drummer, but this is just like the party version, right?
Yeah.
But like, what if I like reframed that into, I wanted it to be a kid's book to like teach kids, like, this is how you become a drummer, and market it as kind of like a kid's sort of like friendly novel, kind of graphic, like a graphic novel style, and build the story around that. And then like on the back end of that, I can, everything you need as a drummer is a pair of drumsticks. I can make some own Donnie Hammer signature drumsticks, go get like an Etsy person to partner with them to do it, or, and send people to a website to buy a pair of Donnie Hammer drumsticks from the book. So maybe kids will buy some drumsticks that way. Kind of saying off the cuff, but like if the entire book is to sell somebody on the idea of being a drummer, maybe that idea belongs in here, or maybe it is. But like the point is like you're writing a book on an authority in a niche that you can use research and AI to really accelerate the process. Because I could not be a drummer and literally still write a book on it just by following the outline and structure and then putting like my own research in it and then framing it. But I mean, yeah, if you wanted to go and start in a brand new niche for, let's say like you're a service person, you want to start working with like real estate partners and you did lawns and you wanted to find real estate agents to connect you with. Maybe you write a book that explains like how having a well-cut house is well-cut lawn in your house increases the value of it. You partner with real estate agents to work with them on giving you house business so that you increase the value of their house. I don't know. I just spitballing here.
I love how unique that is. Because I feel like a lot of the time as entrepreneurs, people get sucked into like doing it by themselves. But your whole premise is like, share what you know, partner with people that you can, and create a funnel where you're just attracting people constantly. So I love that. Before ending this episode, I just want to know if there's any other little tips and pieces of advice that you can share with the audience about lead magnets and maybe about writing a book.
Yeah, so I think that the thing that has stuck with me through the process of like doing this challenge and just like going through this the last few weeks was that it's easy to like get an idea stuck in your head and lead magnets are people consuming your content and finding value in it, right? So whether it's putting like social media posts on your Facebook that share a little bit about what you do and who you help to attract people, or just share memes for being funny, to thinking that I'm not an expert enough to write my own book is such a limiting belief when it doesn't. The book doesn't have to be a massive novel that it took years to actually complete writing because it was huge. It's a collection of your thoughts on a particular topic and subject and answering questions that people that should be working with you might not be because they simply don't know that you can answer their problems here, right? And so just stepping out and knowing how to lay out a process and just getting it out of your head has been like the most beneficial for me, is just getting it like, cool, now I can take this and I can expand on it and I can grow on it. And it's the first edition, like there's going to be more, there's going to be more to it. It's not that I just made a massive deal with a publishing house and now this is it. Like my hands are off. Like this is purely self-published. Like literally anybody can do it that has Google Docs and Canva for the cover design.
Yeah. Love Canva. That's amazing. Well, for anyone who wants to work with you, how can they get in touch?
So I'm on Instagram and all the social media is at Darby A. Rollins. I do have a few irons in the fire. So you can learn a little bit more about what I do on the Amazon e-commerce side at going to junglerocket.com. And outside of that, that's a little bit more copy specific for my e-commerce clients and agencies. You can go to playsidehustle.com to check out the ridiculous game where you pitch funny business ideas. It's good brainstorming game. And go check out Conversionai. But if you want a discount code for 10,000 free words so you can test out Jarvis for yourself, just send me a message on Instagram or shoot me a message on Facebook or something.
I'll link all your things, all your things in the show notes so everybody can check that out. But thank you so much, Darby. This was awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. It was fun.